in the NBA, we're watching the finals, right? And there's no true point guard on the court. And Steph Curry obviously is a point guard and gets people in the right positions. But I look at the mock draft, and the first real point guard, true point guard, I should say, that gets taken is Kennedy Chandler at 29, which makes me kind of work myself back. And I'm like, where does Chris Paul get taken, in modern times? I mean, Kennedy Chandler weighs 172. I think Chris Paul was like 175 coming out of Wake Forest. So, like, the position is so different of being a true point guard. You have to have someone that can score now. So it's like, if you are a Kennedy Chandler, a true point guard, Andrew Nimhard, your best bet right now, it feels like, is to go late first round, which I find that to be fascinating. Or am I just projecting on this draft?
No, there's definitely something to that with smaller guards. The NBA is not wildly interested right now in taking guys that are like 6'1" that can't really hold up defensively against these bigger wings, right?
Yeah.
Because so much of the NBA now is about, okay, we have Jason Tatum, we're going up against let's think of the Brooklyn Nets, right? Goran Dragic, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills. Let's just get Jason Tatum switched on to one of those guys and let him rock. And that's going to be a great shot. He's going to make the shot. It's either going to be a pull-up three or it's going to be a pull-up mid-range jumper. That's at least a 50% pull-up mid-range jumper because those guys can't really impact his shot. So I think that's the big thing right now, is that NBA teams don't have a wild interest in smaller guards. And we have evidence of this last year with Sharif Cooper. Sharif Cooper averaged 21 points and 9 assists, and he went 48th in the draft. I think that Kennedy's game translates a little bit more to being a role player, but I do worry about what his game looks like in the NBA, and it wouldn't stun me if he fell to the second round.
You have a mock to Memphis, backing up John Moran. I like that.
I like that.
I feel like that's the perfect Tyus Jones replacement.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about Jeremy Sochan and Kendall Brown, the two Baylor guys that were sort of, to college basketball fans, they felt like similar guys. They felt like these two guys that showed up at Baylor on the national title team, and they're 6'8", 6'9". They were good defensively, obviously. Sochan's obviously much better defensively. But they sort of felt like they played similar roles, similar stats. Kendall Brown shot it a little bit better. I'm certainly not making this argument. I'm just putting the ball on a tee for you, Sam, to explain why Jeremy Sochan is so much higher rated in this draft than his teammate Kendall Brown, when a lot of people that were watching college all year probably would have, if you asked the average college basketball fan, they would have probably told you they're about some. It's like they're pretty interchangeable on that Baylor team. Why do you see it so differently, and why do the NBA people see it so differently?
Yeah, so I think that by the end of the year, what we saw was that Baylor was much more effective with Jeremy Sochan on the court than with Kendall Brown on the court. And, as Tate will know better than anyone, that North Carolina game where Baylor almost had that crazy comeback where they were down, what was it, Tate, 24,
27
points, something
27.
like that.
Leaky back 27. Black pass. Don't forget.
Yeah. Titus' favorite play of the year.
Never forget the pass.
But yeah, I think that, that game obviously happened with Kendall Brown on the bench and Jeremy Sochan guarding, Caleb Love and RJ Davis, and then switching down onto Armando Bacot and dealing with him on the block, right? I think that Sochan is arguably the most switchable defender in this NBA draft class, which is one of the most important skills moving forward when you're looking at translation toward the NBA. So that's the difference. Number one, I actually buy Sochan's jumper a little bit more than I buy Kendall Brown's. I think Kendall, it just seems like he's kind of flinging it toward the rim and doesn't have a lot of confidence in it. I think I think Sochan handles the ball a little bit better in the open court as well. I think Kendall Brown's handle is a little bit loose with it. And I'll tell you this, in Big 12 play this season, I think that Baylor was something like 20 points worse when Kendall Brown was on the court than when he was on the bench, which is a crazy number. No one else on their team was outside of 7 points positively or negatively, and Kendall Brown was away big outlier in terms of what his impact was when he was out there. I think teams just kind of stopped guarding him, and he started turning the ball over a little bit, and he wasn't quite as impactful defensively as what his tools are.
In summation, Sochan has the dog in him.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I think Sochan has that dog in
Yeah,
him.
wait.
He's one of the
Who's
ones.
the guy who has that dog in him in this class? We got to know.
Who's the most? I think Paolo wants it to be him. It's not.
It's not Paolo. I think it's Matherin. I think it's Benedict Matherin. I think he has the most dog in him.
One.
Matherin's a great answer, but I felt like every time I watched Arizona, though, Terry was doing the dirty work. Like Terry felt more like the dirty work.
You can only have one dog.
So what is? I need a better definition on what it means to be the dog. I guess. Jalen Duren.
He's got that.
He's got the dog. He's got that dog. Yeah.
My biggest fear, Sam, is that the Hornets take Jalen Duren and Ochai Agbaji. I get really excited, and then they trade both of them for Miles Turner. And that breaks my heart. You know what I mean? That would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
If that would happen. No. I'm not actually hearing that.
Right,
I would be surprised if that would happen.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, like I think that they're just going to take a big, and they'll figure out what to do with that second pick after.
Okay.
I think it's possible they don't make both of these picks, but we'll see what's going to happen there.
Oof.
Eason, he's got the dog in him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about Christian Brown?
What?
That's a sneaky dog in him.
Christian Brown is a Pacers pick with a lot of dogs. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.